What is going on, Peep Squad? Today's video is about the first 3 episodes of the new Amazon Prime series called Invincible, based on the comic series. Now, before I get into it, the one series that I'm covered on this channel that I'm not very familiar with, like For the Stand or The Boys or Titans or whatever, all these other series, I'm very familiar with the source material that the series is based on, but for this I'm not really familiar with the comics. So coming into this very blind, but that being said, I did really enjoy it, and so let's get into it. So the first episode opens with these security guards. They're at the White House, they're talking about stuff, and one brings up his stepson, and I'm wondering if there's something significant about this, like the father and the stepson, like, or is it maybe like a cameo by somebody, or do these characters show up again? Like, because we've seen them twice, and so it's got to mean something. And so then the Guardians of the Globe show up. No, wait, the Mahler twins. These are the guys that are like clones. They're super smart, and they are like evil scientist guys, but they're clones. And they attack the White House. But the Guardians of the Globe show up, and they kind of fight them. Yeah, and then we cut to Mark Grayson, the main character of the show. He is going to school, and he stands up to a bully named Todd, who punches him, and he gets beat up really bad until Amber, who's probably going to be a love interest in the future, saves him. Yeah, and then so later on, so basically his dad, Omni-Man, is from a different planet, and so pretty much his story mirrors Superman a lot, in that he was this other planet. I'm forgetting what the planet's called, but Omni-Man is from this planet where they send out protectors to the other less not civilized, that's not the right word, less sophisticated, I guess is a better word, planets to protect them. And I have a theory about that later on that I think probably explains a lot, but I have a feeling that my theory is right. I'm not familiar with the source material, so I could be wrong, but I'll talk about that later if you don't want to be spoiled on that. Yeah, Omni-Man, who came from this planet, is Mark's dad, and he's like 17 and he hasn't gotten his powers yet, and he does because he's working at a burger place, and he accidentally throws the trash bag all the way to London. So that's pretty crazy. He tells his dad and his mom, and they're pretty cool about it. And then he kind of has his first training session with his dad doesn't go super well, and so to blow off steam, he stops a robbery, and there's this guy who has like a stone armor. I'm told his name is Titan. I think he's a reoccurring villain in this series, from what I know. From what I hear, again, I have not read it, but he's a reoccurring villain. Anyway, he like has a rock armor, I think. I'm not really sure. But anyway, yeah, Invincible stops the robbery, but he also makes a bunch of damage. But then after that, Omni-Man shows up, and he's like, he kind of destroyed the city, but let me take you to somebody. And so he goes to see the tailor, the guy who makes all the superhero suits, voiced by Mark Hamill, which is really cool. But they talk about all the different suits. Invincible hasn't chosen a name yet, so he can't make a suit. Which makes sense. It's easier to make a suit when you have kind of a name you want to go by, but Mark hasn't picked that name out yet. Yeah, and so at the end of the episode, he chooses the name Invincible. I don't think he gets a suit until next week. Not next week, next episode, which he can't this week. But the episode ends with a very shocking scene of Omni-Man killing all of the Guardians of the Globe. And like I said, I have a theory about this later on, if you don't want to get spoiled. But yeah, it was really weird. I wasn't expecting it. But I really liked a lot of these characters, even though we only got to see them for a little bit. We had like a fish dude, a Wonder Woman parody, a Batman parody, Martian Manhunter guy. Those are all the ones I can remember that were part of the Guardians of the Globe. But there's also like a Hellboy guy, which is really cool. I like him a lot. But yeah, so that was episode 1, and now we're going to move on to episode 2, where we meet The GDA, Global Defense Agency, which is kind of this universe's version of like SHIELD, I guess. During his attack on the Guardians, Omni-Man was put into a coma by the Flash one, which I believe is Red Rover. I'm not sure. Yeah, and then the director Cecil, who is voiced by Walter. I don't know the guy's first name, but it's Coggins, I believe. He was in Fat Man. He played the assassin. Walter Coggins, I think his name is. I'm sorry if I got that wrong. Yeah, and so director Cecil takes Mark and Debbie, Debbie Grayson being Mark's dad, Mark's mom, to the Pentagon, where they are keeping Omni-Man kind of underground in a secret hospital area. They're trying to hide the death of the Guardians from the media. Cause, like I mentioned, Damien Darkblood, which is this universe's version of like Hellboy or Constantine or whatever, investigates the Guardians' death. And I really like this. There's like an interdimensional alien like conquering group called the Flaxons, and they attack the city. And they seem like they're winning for a while because Mark shows up with the Teen Team, which is this universe's version of the Teen Titans, which is really cool. They're fighting them and they're kind of losing, but then all of a sudden the Flaxons just like drop dead with that. And then the leader of the team, Robot, says, "Oh, it's because they have a different time stream on their world, and so they move a lot faster than ours. So like 3 days in our world is like 30 years in their world." So they keep coming back, and it's like, weren't they just here? But oh yeah, that was like 10 years ago in their world, and that's really funny. So they show up like 3 times, and there's the action in this series is just so much fun. I love it. I heard it's from the same animation team that does a lot of the DC animated movies, and it really shows because the action is just so crisp and easy to follow and just really, really cool, and I like that a lot. Yeah, and then so at the final scene in this episode is my favorite scene so far of the series, where Omni-Man, he follows the Flaxons through the portal and he just completely destroys their entire planet. Omni-Man, who's obviously the only survivor of the attack, and he says he doesn't know anything, although he does because we saw it happen. Cecil, the director of the GDA, goes to Robot and he says, "I need you to build a new Guardians team." And so he does that. It's kind of like the whole like the main plot of this episode is him making a new team. And so he does pick a new team after an extensive tryout montage, I guess. I didn't really care for this all that much. Yeah, and so I don't remember if it was in last episode or this episode, but Adam Eve finds out that Rexplode is cheating on her. So after they're both put on the new Guardians team, she quits, obviously. This is also a really fun scene because she wasn't on the team. Cecil tells her and Invincible to go to Mount Rushmore to stop a guy named Doc Seismic, and he has like these bracelets that can make earthquakes and stuff. And this is just a another really fun action scene between them. The final scene before the credits is the twins, the Moeller twins, escape from prison, and they're obviously helped by somebody. We don't know who it is until the very end. We find out that it was Robot. I'm not really sure what his plan was, but it'll be interesting to see what happens. And so then Darkblood shows up at the Nolan house, and he talks to the mom, Debbie, and he finds out that Nolan, which is Omni-Man, hasn't told her anything yet, and so then he leaves. And that is the final scene of the 3rd episode. All in all, this is so much fun. I can't wait for more. Like I said, I haven't read the comics, so I'm coming in completely blind, but I still really, really love it. Also, my theory. So if you're not familiar with the comics, and maybe my theory is nothing. Maybe it is a spoiler. I don't know. But my theory is that, so what we're told in the very first episode is that Omni-Man came from a planet to protect other planets, but my theory is that his planet is actually sending out warriors to conquer other planets, and so that's why he killed the Guardians. Let me know if that's right or wrong in the comments, or we'll do whatever. But yeah, I'm really excited to see what happens next. Really cool. I needed this because recently a lot of the stuff we've been reviewing on YouTube hasn't really been super intense or violent, and this is just, this is exactly what I needed. So yeah, check the links in the description for all that good stuff, and I will see you next time. Peace out.